with your host, Jaden Miller.
Hello. This is Jaden Miller, and welcome to Think About It with Jaden Miller. Please check out my website at www.jadenmiller.com. Please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and like, comment, and follow on your favorite podcast platform. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Google Podcast, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Audrey, Amazon Podcast, Podvine, and so many more. It is so great to be with you here on this Sunday morning. Greetings to everyone out there. I have not done a podcast since July 10th. And I apologize to those of you that have been waiting for my newest podcast. I took sort of a summer hiatus. All right. Had to take care of some things at home and do a little visiting and get prepared for the new school year and all of those things. And so I took a little break, but I am back to provide you with great content once again. Again, it's so good to be with you guys. Lots of stuff happened over this summer, of course, and you know, I could go back and talk about those things, but I won't. You all know all about them. What I will talk about today is just a couple of things, you know, one of which I just really enjoy. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Mission Beach in San Diego. My gosh, I just love this place. And this is the Labor Day weekend, and I certainly wish I was there now. But really enjoy San Diego and Mission Beach. Now, prior to me meeting my wife, I knew nothing about San Diego. I had been there once on a kind of a work trip a few years ago. Actually, a lot more than a few years ago now. And I got a chance to go to the San Diego Zoo and all of that kind of stuff. And so it was really cool back then. But my wife has introduced me to just so much more about San Diego and so many different parts to it. And that it's now like just one of my favorite destinations to go. And so but just to go back, one of the places that I mentioned Mission Beach because Mission Beach just has so many things to do, and it is in such a beautiful place. Now, my wife is a beach person, a water person. I typically am not. I'm more of a mountain, country, dirt road. And then there's, of course, the city part of me growing up in Chicago. So that's what I really like. That's where I really like to go. And so this was really new, you know, experiencing this whole new part of California, specifically San Diego, and more specifically Mission Beach. And so I remember when our first trip to San Diego was a couple of years ago now, and we went specifically to Mission Beach, that area, and we stayed at the Bahia Resort, a hotel, and that's off there in Mission Beach. And it was just a delightful place and a delightful area. And then we were able to walk because it's not far to the local beaches. And, you know, my favorite place when you go to Mission Beach is to Belmont Park, because there are lots of rides and roller coasters and bumper cars and arcades. And I really love that kind of thing. But also, you know, there's this long, I don't know how long it is, a couple of miles long, maybe even more, boardwalk where you can walk and people jog and people bike. But more than anything, it's just people watching, which is one of the things that I love. And I love because you have this mix of different people, you know. I mean, you have people with dogs, you have people that are playing music, you have people that are wealthy, people that aren't. You have people that are 20 something, you have people people that are 80 something, and there's just so much to do. There's just so many places to go eat. There are so many different activities. I mean, for me, because I'm a real simple kind of person, I just enjoy watching people play beach volleyball at Mission Beach. That is so cool. But it is just a really great place. But, the food is terrific. And if you go there and specifically to Mission Beach, okay, there's Mexican restaurants. There's grilled cheese in any kind of way you want, There's ice cream. There's, slushies, There's so much to do, so much to eat, so much fun to be had there in Mission Beach. And so that's one of my favorite places to go in San Diego. And we got a chance to go for a little bit this summer. And so, again, just a really great place. It also is a great place because that's where, my wife and I had our honeymoon as well. So we had so again, I'm not a water person, Mission Beach is right off the Pacific Ocean. And because she has gone there very often, she's shown me, so many other places. By the way, Mission Beach is right near SeaWorld. So if you like, aquatic animals and that kind of thing, that's a great place for you to go as well. And if you like boats, and there's just so much beauty there. And so she's got me to really realize that, water and, the ocean can be beautiful. Now, mind you, I am not foreign to water. Bodies of water. I grew up in Chicago. Chicago is right off of Lake Michigan, which is one of the Great Lakes, and it is a huge lake. Okay, certainly not as big as the Pacific Ocean, but I am used to and know a little bit about water, but it just never was my favorite thing. All right, but the beauty of Mission Beach in San Diego is just phenomenal, and it's just a great place to go. And just even the thought of it really just, it just like perks me up and makes me say, hey, let's go. You can go to San Diego from here in Phoenix in, 4.5 to 5 hours. So, if you leave at 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, you got a whole day that you can spend, of course, now not in the whole city of San Diego, but I'm just talking about specifically Mission Beach. But you might want to go and stay a lot longer than that. So when we go and stay there, we usually venture out. Now, we've only been to a few places. Let me take that back. I've only been to a few places. My wife has been all over, but there's the San Diego Zoo. There's and the name of it skips me right now, but it's like Rodeo or something. But anyway, there's like museums all over the place, and I love that place too. And it's all right near downtown. Let me mention Little Italy too. Little Italy is just a beautiful place in San Diego to go for dining. We met a guy there a couple of years ago, and then actually saw him during our anniversary. His name is Bernie. He's always at this one restaurant, Cilantro. I think that's the name of it. And he's just really cool, always tells us whenever he sees us that we're a great couple. So hopefully on our next trip to San Diego, we'll see him. But again, just, a beautiful place. So museums, the zoo, Little Italy. And then I really love Seaport Village. Seaport Village is the place to go. So I like to walk. And like I mentioned, I like to people watch. And so there's all kinds of people just walking. And they're from all walks of life. You see people on scooters. You see people on skateboards. You see people on go-kart tours, and then there's, of course, boats. All right. And my wife and I did take a trip, not a trip, but did a boat ride while we were there, and it was phenomenal. So again, just Balboa Park. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Balboa Park is the name of the park where you have all of these different museums. And it is just a phenomenal place to go. And so just kind of trying to pub up San Diego a little bit. And for those of you all that are looking for places to go, or if you've been to San Diego and have never ever been to Mission Beach, let me tell you, that is the place to go. Mission Beach is, if you take the I-5 freeway to Garnet Avenue, west to Mission Boulevard, you can get there, or you can take SeaWorld Drive to West Mission Bay. That will get you there. Of course, there's a city bus that runs right through Mission Beach too. But man, again, just a phenomenal place. And if you go there, you have got to go to Belmont Park. That's where all the rides are. They've got, like I said, bumper cars, carousels, all other kinds of rides. There's plenty of dining options. I've eaten there several times on Mission Beach, even at the Belmont Park, the arcade there. I've eaten there, So again, fabulous place to go. The next time I'm going to do something a little different though. So these last few times that we've gone, we've just watched. But I actually want to do some biking, or I want to do some beach volleyball, So I don't want to just be, someone that views what happens. I want to be I want to be more than a spectator. I want to be someone that's actually in the action, and so that's my plan for the next time I go to San Diego. So when I do go to San Diego, there's this winery that I like to go to called San Pasquale Winery, and they have the best wine slushies in the world. Now, I'm a slushy fanatic, or fanatical, and I love that the frozen drinks, but to have a frozen wine drink, it comes in this little glass. Actually, it's not a little glass, it's just like a wine glass, an average size, but it's big enough to hold a nice amount, and fabulous. I mentioned the boat. We took a boat ride, and again, see, if it weren't for my wife, a lot of these things that I'm telling you all about, I would not do, First of all, because I wouldn't have liked to have done them by myself. It's always good when you have somebody to go with you, but also when there's someone that has been there many times, and so they can guide you and share things with you. So we took a boat ride to Coronado Island, which is right there near San Diego. And let me tell you, I still think about how gorgeous that trip was. Now, mind you, it was our honeymoon, but I still think about how gorgeous that was and how wonderful San Diego is. Just a fabulous place. So anyway, I know you guys are probably tired of me talking about it, but I'm just telling you, man, as my first podcast is coming back, I wanted to start that off positive. So, just wanted to share that with you and remind you as I get ready to segue into my next thing to check out my website at www.jaydenmiller.com. That's all one word, jaydenmiller.com, JAYDENMILLER. Please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and like, comment, and follow on your favorite podcast platform. What did you guys do this summer? Anything special? Did you go any place special? Did anyone go to San Diego? Please, like or comment or share with me. Okay, so that's San Diego, and of course I spent a lot of time in Phoenix, going back and forth. Oh, and let me tell you, there's another place that I got to go to. And I want to make sure I say this right. It's the Musical Instrument Museum. I think that's what it's called. And it's in the Phoenix area, probably Scottsdale, maybe, somewhere in that area. But man, let me tell you, there are musical instruments galore there. From all over the world. I really want to go back to that place too. The Musical Instruments Museum. I think that's correct. In Phoenix, or, kind of north near Scottsdale. But what a fabulous place to go. So we all went as a family, and there was piano playing by some of the members of our family, and people would just stand around and just watch and give them rounds of applause because they were just fabulous. But that's another place that if you've never been, you should go check out. I'm telling you, first of all, there's a lot of walking to do, so you probably could only do 4 to 5 hours, but there's so much to see. So much. I mean, there's musical instruments from Asia and Africa and North America and Europe, South America, and they span the time from, early ages to now, and you get to see how music is actually very universal. And then you also get to see the similarities between musical instruments from one part of the country to the next part, which for me really helps me to understand, okay, that we as human beings are so much more connected than we would like to believe, okay? I've always said that, we have more things in common, okay, as human beings, then we do have differences. We just tend to focus on the differences, like race and sex and all those other things. But, we have so much more in common, which is, I think, why, scientists, anthropologists, say that, we are actually all cousins, that we're all related in some kind of way, Some go back as far as stating that, Africa is the civil or the cradle of civilization, and that, from there is where people, kind of branched out and went to different areas on Earth because it was cultural or suitable for their lifestyle or what have you. But anyway, getting back to the Musical Instrument Museum, you find all different types of instruments, but then you also see that connection, between people in different parts of the world. And you get to see the similarities in some of the musical instruments. And so, if you've got a day to spare, I would say you should go visit the Musical Instrument Museum in the Phoenix area. All right. So I talked about San Diego. I talked a little bit about the Musical Instrument Museum here in the Phoenix area. There's something that always bothers me, which is unfortunate because there should be more things that make me happy. But there's always some things that bother me. So not the majority, but always a few things. And so one of the things that has been bothering me just over the last couple of days is the notion of missing women in the United States. So as you recall, for a fleeting moment in 2021, we had a media flurry over missing women in America when YouTube influencer Gabby Petito, you may remember Gabby Petito because I started off my new podcast, talking about the missing Gabby Petito. Well, she was reported missing on September 11th, but in the months since, that media frenzy and all the discourse around it evaporated. See, it's not that no other women have gone missing since Gabby Petito. It's that too many have. Do you know that over 250,000 women and girls are reported missing every year in the United States? But those statistics and the names and faces that accompany them rarely register on our radar unless the missing person is from our local community. See, even as the search for Gabby Petito was a daily headline leading cable news, the media failed to mention this unfathomable number of missing women. It was never mentioned. And it seemed that the moment Gabby Petito's body was recovered on September 19, 2021, nearly a month after she was last seen, we then stopped hearing about this ongoing epidemic of criminal proportions. This is not hyperbole, folks. The numbers are stunning. The root causes ignored. The fixes ephemeral. If no one reports on these women, how many there are and how little is done to find them, then how do we end the epidemic? As of January 2nd, 2022, the United States Department of Justice has listed 21,258 open missing persons cases. But there are likely more that are unreported. How many Americans are aware of these statistics? More importantly, how many in law enforcement and media, those who can actually assist in finding these women and girls, know these statistics? My goodness. So I just happened upon today, well, actually not today, but I'm going to talk about it today. But I saw this earlier this week or last week, right? Because today is Sunday, but earlier last week, that there's a teacher, and of course, being in education, but also formerly being in law enforcement. So it's that same thing too, But being in education, I'm always sensitive to the fact, or not to the fact, but I'm always sensitive when teachers have issues or problems, or there's something going on with them. But in this case, there's a missing teacher. So, her name is Eliza Fletcher, and she was jogging around 4:30 a.m. Friday morning when an unidentified person approached her. She was forced into a mid-sized dark SUV and taken from the scene. Now, she is a junior kindergarten teacher in Memphis at St. Mary's Episcopal School. All right. She is a mother of two, and she is married. Now, since Friday, there has been an individual charged in connection with her disappearance. And as I mentioned, investigators believe that she was abducted while she was out for a jog Friday morning. So they have charged somebody named Cleotha Abston. Cleotha, what the? That kind of name is Cleotha. But anyway, sorry, I digress. Cleotha Abston, 38, was charged with especially aggravated kidnapping and tampering with evidence, according to the Memphis Police Department. Okay. Abston was arrested yesterday, after police found a vehicle they had been looking for in the case. The vehicle of interest has been located, and a male who was occupying the vehicle has been detained, according to the Memphis Police Department in an announcement on Twitter. So what the police did was they released photos of Fletcher running in the neighborhood near the University of Memphis. She was last seen wearing a pink jogging top and purple running shorts. She is a white female, 5 feet 6 inches tall, with brown hair and green eyes. She weighs about 137 pounds. Her damaged phone was found near the scene where she is believed to have been abducted. All right. The family has offered a $50,000 reward through Crime Stoppers for information leading to an arrest in the case. All right. Members of her family said that they are looking forward to her safe return and hope this award will help police capture those who committed this crime. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is assisting the Memphis Police Department in this case. Again, really, really terrifying that even still in the United States, women, children, whomever, are still being abducted, taken. Can you imagine just being out on a walk or on a run in this particular case, and someone abducts you? That's really, really scary. I was reading earlier this week, because it really caught my eye, that in the case of missing white girls or white women, it usually becomes a widespread media case. But when it comes to African Americans, it's less likely. CNN did a report on missing African Americans. So yes, the statistics are extremely alarming. So there's this case about this guy here in the area that I live in Phoenix or near Phoenix, Buckeye, Arizona. So when David Robinson's 24-year-old son went missing in June of 2021, he uprooted his life in South Carolina and moved here to lead the search. He knew that the only way he would get answers and potentially find Daniel Robinson, his son, would be if he was on the ground. So today, Robinson is still living in an Arizona apartment and spends his days chasing leads and working with volunteers to search the desert where Daniel's car was found. He has little communication with the police, which is really sad, who he says never dedicated enough resources to solve the case. Robinson said the lack of closure in his son's disappearance keeps him up at night. I'm struggling here, Robinson said, but if I'm not here on the ground, I know nothing will get done. No one will take it seriously. So this goes back to what I was saying about, we've had so many missing people, and we generally only hear about certain ones. Let's go back and talk about, the fact that despite increased media attention on missing Black and brown people in the last year, because there has been some families say they are still fighting for police to give their cases fair scrutiny. That's because there's this unfortunate belief that, when it comes to Black and brown youth, kids, women, whatever, that they have run away or got involved in some criminal activity, which is certainly not always the case. Parents and spouses of missing people of color say slow-moving, stagnant police investigations force them to take matters into their own hands. They are assembling search teams, passing out flyers with photos of their missing loved ones, and hiring private investigators to assist them in their search. Meanwhile, and this is the part that really, really makes me sad, is the cases of missing white women and children continue to be thrust into the national spotlight. So I want everybody that's missing to be found, but the same amount of attention should be given to others. So some police agencies have sought guidance on a more equitable approach to reports of missing Black and brown people. For example, Black and Missing Foundation co-founder Derica Wilson says she has recommended that police eliminate the runaway classification for people reported missing. And I certainly agree with that. That's an old classification. Oh, well, this person ran away. See, people ran away from home back during the 1960s when Andy Griffith was around. Opie Taylor used to run away from home, or in the Brady Bunch era in the 1970s, Bobby or Greg or Peter, may have wanted to run away from home. Okay. But nowadays in the 2000s, the 2010s, the 2020s, no one's running away from home. Okay. That's an old term. Okay. So I agree with the co-founder of Black and Missing Foundation, Derica Wilson, that's an old term that needs it's outdated. It needs to go away. Many Black families say police officers often rule out criminal activity in their cases by suggesting their loved one voluntarily ran away. A growing number of unsolved or cold cases of missing people of color shows there is more work to be done. All right, and I agree. So, according to 2021 FBI data, Black people make up 31% of missing persons reports, but only 14% of the United States population. White people, meanwhile, make up 54% of missing persons reports and are 76% of the United States population. See the disparity there? The FBI's National Crime Information Center's list of active missing persons showed more than 93,000 active missing person cases at the end of 2021. Of those cases, Black and Native American people made up a larger share of missing persons than their total share of the United States population. I've already mentioned that the largest disparity is among Black people, who make up about 1/3 of active missing persons, but only 14% of the United States population. That's really sad. It causes me to recall back in Chicago, the case of the Diamond Girls, Diamond and Tiana, I think that's their names. And that was back in 2006, and this is 2022, and they still have not been found. They did not run away from home. They went out to play, and still have not been found. So now these young girls who, I think one of them may have been 8 or 10, and the other one may be a little bit younger, but these girls are now adults. They're grown women now, or they would be if they're still alive, sir. So, I mean, it's certainly really sad. that we have all of these abductions that happen in the United States, and so little resources in order to help bring these people back home. There's a family in Atlanta, the family of 24-year-old Alania Lenoir. She went missing in Atlanta on July 30th after she and a female family friend went to visit two men at a Midtown apartment building. They are really concerned parents looking for their daughter. There's a black father who vanished, July 8th, 2021 in Texas. And he was afraid that he may have disrespected the wrong person. And so now he's missing. Okay. So they're just, imagine these families, and regardless of whether they're Native American or black or white. This is a nightmare, a living nightmare, to not know where your loved ones are, whether they be your spouse or, or a girlfriend or boyfriend or a daughter or a son or a brother or a sister or whomever. You can't even fathom just not knowing where your loved one is. If they're hungry, if they're being mistreated, if they're going to walk through the front door again. That is such a hard thing. All right. Really, really hard thing. So, just wanted to bring to you all's attention the plight of so many missing people here in the United States. And, for us to continue to be vigilant, if we see anything out of the ordinary, to make sure we report it to the authorities. There's just so many people. There are so many people that are missing out there. And, it just really, really breaks my heart, to know that some of these people have been missing for now over a year and some for decades, and the thing about it is that, when it comes to women, a lot of them are being abducted for just nefarious reasons, some to be used as sex slaves, and some are being trafficked, some not only in the United States, but some maybe even across the world. But the thing that's also really scary, and I don't know if you all remember, this happened back in Ohio, and this is probably a while ago, maybe about 10 years ago, but there was this man who had abducted women like maybe even 5 to 10 years earlier and kept them in his house, locked up in his house. And there just so happened to be a man that saw one of these women. She had gotten loose and, she had kind of gotten free from the house and ran up to him, to alert him that, who she was and that she had been missing for years, and the scary thing about it is, this could be someone that lives right next door to you or across the street from you, someone that you may even have a friendly relationship, and they are keeping people holding people hostage in their homes. That's also very, very scary. So anyway, again, I just wanted you guys to be vigilant, just to bring the plight of missing people to your awareness. And again, to be vigilant and look out for them. My name is Jaden Miller. Please check out my website at www.jadenmiller.com. You can find me on all of the different podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Google Podcast, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Audrey, Podvine, and Amazon Podcasts. And I'm sure there are probably a few more other ones out there. Okay. Please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and like, comment, and follow, again, as I've mentioned, on your favorite podcast platform. All right. So I am happy to be back on the podcast waves, if that's such a thing. Glad to be back providing you all with content again. Like I mentioned, I went away for a little bit this summer, took a summer hiatus, but now I'm back. School's back in session. I'm back hard at work and looking forward to providing you guys with information from my perspective on a variety of different topics. So feel free to share with me your opinions as well. And I look forward to seeing you guys on my next podcast. Thank you guys. Have a fabulous, fabulous day.
Thank you for listening to Think About It with Jaden Miller. Don't forget to like and subscribe to his YouTube channel. and like and follow on your favorite podcast platform.